Welcome to our channel where we uncover the incredible stories behind the world's most fascinating and valuable coins, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising treasures in numismatic history, the 1981 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike with a jaw-dropping value reaching an unbelievable $16 million. A figure that seems impossible for a simple penny until you learn the secrets, mistakes, and rare minting errors that make this humble piece of copper worth more than gold itself. So stay with us as we uncover how a coin most people once ignored could now buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or change your life forever. The story of the 1981 1-cent coin begins in an era when the U.S. Mint was transitioning between the classic copper composition and the newer zinc-based pennies introduced in 1982, which means 1981 was among the final years when the coin was struck using the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy, making it the last of an era. The final true copper pennies that collectors cherish for their rich color, durability, and connection to American history. But the real reason this 1981 1-cent coin can be worth up to $16 million lies not only in its composition but in the remarkable minting mistakes that occurred during its production, errors so rare and visually striking that they have become legends in the numismatic world, commanding astronomical prices at auctions and private sales. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but under a magnifying glass reveals doubled letters on "In God We Trust," or an extra shadow on Lincoln's portrait, or a misaligned strike that makes the date stretch awkwardly to one side. Each of these tiny details can be the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth millions. Among the most notable error types found in the 1981 1-cent coin are double die obverse coins, where the front of the coin shows doubling in the lettering or Lincoln's profile due to a slight shift during the die production process. These doubling errors are often seen on the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," creating a ghostly appearance that collectors find mesmerizing. When such a doubling is bold and clear, the value can skyrocket, especially if the coin remains in mint state condition with no significant wear. Another kind of error that has driven the value of some 1981 1-cent coins to astonishing heights is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin blank, known as a planchette, is not properly centered in the press, resulting in an incomplete or partially missing design. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, say 5%, 10%, or even 50%, the value can increase dramatically. A 1981 penny struck 50% off-center with a clear visible date and mint mark can sell for thousands, and when combined with other rare features, like a double die or transitional composition, the price can multiply beyond imagination. Then there are broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar, causing it to spread wider and thinner than normal, often with softly defined rims. These visually stunning coins are prized for their distinct appearance and rarity, and when they occur on a year like 1981, right before a major compositional change, they become even more desirable to advanced collectors. But one of the most mysterious and sought-after variations of the 1981 penny is the transitional error, a coin that somehow bridges the gap between the old copper era and the new zinc era introduced the following year. Some experts believe that experimental planchets, possibly zinc or mixed metal blanks, may have been tested in late 1981, resulting in rare hybrid coins that look like regular copper pennies but have a slightly lighter weight or unusual surface tone. Discovering such a transitional error would be like finding a missing link in the evolutionary chain of U.S. coinage, one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes in modern minting history. A coin like that could easily fetch millions due to its uniqueness and historical significance. Furthermore, there are even rumors and recorded examples of 1981 pennies with multiple striking errors, coins struck twice or even 3 times by the mint press, leaving overlapping images of Lincoln's face or repeated inscriptions. These dramatic multi-strike errors are exceptionally scarce and always attract fierce bidding wars among collectors. When such a coin is authenticated, graded, and preserved in pristine condition, it's no surprise to see its value leap into the millions, driven by rarity, curiosity, and collector passion. What also adds to the mystique of the 1981 penny is its connection to the closing chapter of the Copper Age. The Mint's decision to move to zinc pennies in 1982 was driven by rising copper prices, making it cost more to produce each coin than its face value. As a result, 1981 marks the end of an era, a symbolic transition that gives these coins historical weight beyond their physical metal content. Combine that with the possibility of errors created by hurried minting processes, and you have a recipe for legendary numismatic treasures. Let's also not forget the various mint marks. 1981 coins were struck at three main mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The San Francisco coins, especially proof issues, are famous for their mirror-like finish and sharp details, but even they are not immune to errors. A 1981 Rare U.S. proof penny with a double die or cameo contrast floor can command breathtaking premiums, especially when certified by reputable grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Meanwhile, the 1981 Rare D coins from Denver often show mechanical doubling or die deterioration doubling, which, though more common, can sometimes produce unique and visually interesting varieties that attract attention. The Philadelphia coins, struck without a mint mark, occasionally show striking anomalies, such as filled die errors, where grease or debris partially filled the die, causing letters or parts of the design to appear faint or missing. These missing letter coins are fascinating to collectors because they provide a tangible glimpse into the imperfections of the minting process. For example, a 1981 penny missing part of the word Liberty or with an incomplete date could spark tremendous interest, particularly if the rest of the coin remains well preserved. Imagine the excitement of finding such a coin in a roll of old change or tucked away in a jar forgotten for decades, one small piece of metal capable of rewriting your financial story overnight. The possibility that an ordinary-looking 1981 penny could be worth $16 million might sound like a fantasy, but history has proven that extraordinary coins often emerge from the most unexpected places. Over the years, stories have circulated about people finding valuable pennies in their pocket change, such as the legendary 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, both of which are now worth small fortunes. The 1981 penny's rise to fame follows this same pattern, a blend of history, human error, and the irresistible allure of rarity. In the coin collecting world, value is determined not just by age but by rarity, condition, and demand. When all three of these elements align perfectly, you get a coin that can transcend its humble beginnings and enter the realm of million-dollar collectibles. In the case of the 1981 1-cent coin, the combination of being among the last pure copper issues, the existence of dramatic minting errors, and the fascination surrounding transitional pieces has created a perfect storm for skyrocketing prices. Some collectors speculate that the $16 million figure represents the hypothetical value of a unique, flawless specimen with multiple rare characteristics, such as being double-struck, off-center, transitional in composition, and preserved in uncirculated condition. If such a coin were to exist, authenticated by experts, and sold at a high-profile auction, it could indeed shatter records, much like the famous 1794 flowing hair silver dollar or the 1933 double eagle gold coin, both of which have sold for millions due to their combination of rarity, history, and mythic status. What makes the 1981 penny even more intriguing is that, unlike ancient coins or early American rarities, it belongs to the modern era, meaning millions of people could still have access to it without realizing it. This accessibility fuels the dream that anyone might one day stumble upon one of these rare era coins in their own pocket change. For many, coin collecting is not just about profit but about discovery, the thrill of unearthing a hidden treasure that connects you directly to history. The 1981 penny embodies that spirit perfectly: simple, familiar, yet potentially life-changing. Experts also point out that the grading of the coin plays a massive role in determining its final value. Coins graded MS67 or higher are considered near perfection, with sharp details and virtually no blemishes. A 1981 era penny in such a grade is exponentially rarer than a circulated one, and when combined with striking mistakes, the market value can spiral upward rapidly. Professional grading not only authenticates the coin but also protects it from damage, preserving its value for future generations. Collectors often prefer encapsulated coins, commonly known as slabdo coins, because they come with a certification number, guaranteeing authenticity. The role of auctions and media exposure also cannot be underestimated in driving prices. When news spreads that a coin has sold for millions, it ignites curiosity and competition, drawing more attention to similar coins and pushing demand even higher. Next, Today's story is one that will truly leave you amazed, because we are diving into the incredible mystery and history behind the 1984 1-cent coin that's been rumored to be worth an unbelievable $8 million due to its fascinating errors, rare minting mistakes, and the incredible circumstances that make this coin so valuable. So if you've ever wondered how a single penny could reach such astronomical value, stay tuned, because the story of the 1984 1-cent coin is full of surprises, twists, and hidden details that turn what seems like an ordinary piece of copper into a numismatic legend that continues to baffle experts and excite collectors to this day. When most people look at a penny, they see just a tiny coin with little worth, but in the world of coin collecting, certain errors and rare production anomalies can transform a simple 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and the 1984 1-cent is a perfect example of that. Minted during a time of transition for the U.S. Mint, this particular year carried over a series of design and material changes that had been occurring throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, most notably the switch from solid bronze to copper-plated zinc in 1982. This change brought with it a host of potential problems in the minting process, including die cracks, double strikes, plating errors, and misaligned dies that created highly unusual and sought-after pieces. Among these, the 1984 penny stands out because of one error type that has captured worldwide attention, the famous double die obverse, specifically where the details of Abraham Lincoln's ear appear to be doubled, creating the illusion that he has an extra earlobe. This doubling is not the kind of minor blur that occurs with regular wear, it's a true doubling of the design elements, visible even without magnification, making it one of the most dramatic errors to ever appear on a Lincoln cent. The doubling occurred because of a misalignment during the die creation process, when the master die struck the working die twice at slightly different angles. When those working dies were used to strike thousands of coins, a small number ended up carrying this dramatic doubling, while the vast majority did not. These rare few coins that display this unique feature quickly became the talk of the coin community once they were discovered in circulation. As collectors began to take notice, demand skyrocketed, and values began climbing rapidly, especially for high-grade examples that remained in pristine, uncirculated condition. But what really makes the 1984 double-ear penny so valuable is not just the doubling itself, it's the combination of rarity, condition, and historical context that make it a collector's dream. During the 1980s, the U.S. Mint was modernizing its processes, and this era of change created new kinds of mint errors that hadn't been seen before. The copper plating used on the new zinc cores sometimes bubbled or peeled away, resulting in what are called plating blisters or lamination errors, where parts of the coin's surface appear uneven or flaked. Some 1984 cents even show partial missing plating, giving them a patchy, silvery appearance. While these plating issues on their own might not reach million-dollar levels, when combined with other rare traits like the double die obverse, the coin becomes exponentially rarer and more desirable. Imagine finding a 1984 penny that not only has the famous double-ear error but also a striking off-center or misaligned die, or even a missing mint mark due to a striking anomaly. Such a combination of errors would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and collectors would compete fiercely to own it. Many coins that have fetched astronomical prices at auctions reached those figures because they were unique or had multiple overlapping errors that made them truly one of a kind. In the case of the 1984 1-cent valued at $8 million, it's believed to be an extraordinary specimen that combines several rare characteristics: an extremely clear double die, perfect preservation with a high mint state grade, possibly MS68 or higher, and maybe even a striking anomaly that set it apart from any other known example. Auction records for rare coins show that when a coin is the finest known of its type, collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay any price to own it, and that's precisely what may have happened with this exceptional 1984 penny. The mystique of its story lies in the fact that the penny most people dismiss as insignificant could, under the right circumstances, be worth more than a luxury home, a yacht, or even a supercar, simply because of the tiny errors hidden within its metal surface. The fascination with such coins stems from the human tendency to find value in rarity and imperfection. The very mistakes that the mint tried to avoid are what make collectors go wild. When the double-ear variety was first catalogued, it quickly gained official recognition in coin guides and error listings, which only fueled its popularity. Soon, collectors began scouring their pocket change, checking every 1984 penny under magnification in hopes of finding that elusive doubling. Stories spread of people finding them in circulation and selling them for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but the rarest and most pristine examples were locked away by collectors and investors who understood their potential. Over time, the legend grew, and with each passing year, as fewer high-quality examples remained on the market, the price and desirability of the coin continued to climb. But beyond the double die era, other fascinating mistakes were reported for 1984 cents as well. Some coins were struck on older bronze planchets left over from pre-year 1982 production, resulting in heavier weights and richer copper tones. These transitional errors are among the most sought after in all of numismatics because they represent a literal overlap between two eras of coinage. A 1984 penny struck on a bronze planchet would weigh about 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams for the zinc version, and this difference is easily detectable by collectors using a precision scale. Add a double die to that scenario, and the rarity increases exponentially. It's these kinds of combinations, double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, and minting anomalies, that create coins worth millions. Some examples may show partial collar errors, where the rim appears incomplete or flattened, or even broad strikes, where the coin's edge spreads out wider than normal because it wasn't fully seated in the coining chamber. In extremely rare cases, coins from different denominations can be accidentally struck on the wrong planchets altogether, such as a 1-cent coin being struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, which would make it even more valuable. The 1984 penny's immense value, then, isn't just about a single error, it's about the possibility of multiple overlapping minting mistakes and the rarity of such combinations surviving in high condition. What's truly remarkable is that such coins still turn up in collections, estate sales, and even in loose change from time to time, reigniting excitement among treasure hunters and collectors who dream of finding their own million-dollar penny. The story of the 1984 1-cent worth $8 million reminds us that treasure can literally be hiding in plain sight, sitting unnoticed in a jar of coins or tucked away in an old drawer. Every small detail, from the shine of the metal to the tiniest doubling on Lincoln's profile, can mean the difference between a coin worth a cent and one worth a fortune. For professional graders and numismatic experts, identifying these differences requires not only magnification but also experience, training, and access to reference materials. They analyze strike quality, luster, toning, and die state to determine just how rare and special each coin is. The most pristine examples often receive top grades from certified grading services like PCGS or NGC, and that grading certification can make all the difference at auction, as it gives buyers confidence in authenticity and condition. A coin like the 1984 double die penny graded in MS68 red condition could easily fetch record-breaking prices, especially if it also carries an intriguing backstory or provenance. And over the years, stories have circulated of mysterious buyers, private collectors or museums, who have paid millions for one-of-a-kind mint errors. In the numismatic world, rarity equals prestige, and owning such a coin is like holding a piece of history that no one else can replicate. The deeper you go into the story of the 1984 penny, the more you realize how much it encapsulates the beauty of imperfection. The U.S. Mint, despite its precision and technology, is still operated by humans and machines that can make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes lead to incredible artifacts that transcend their intended purpose. Each 1984 penny tells its own story of copperplating experiments, worn dies, and mechanical misalignments, and the few that turned out unique are like tiny time capsules of the minting process. Collectors don't just see a coin, they see the history of American currency, the labor of engravers, the evolution of materials, and the intrigue of rarity. The Lincoln cent itself carries emotional and historical weight. It's been in circulation since 1909 and has undergone numerous redesigns and modifications, each reflecting the changing times. The 1984 issue sits at a crossroads between tradition and modernization, making it an especially interesting year for error hunters. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious story of the 1989 1-cent coin, a coin that's making headlines and shocking collectors with its unbelievable value of $7 million, all because of its extraordinary errors and unique mistakes that make it unlike any other penny ever minted. Imagine finding such a coin in your change jar, a single cent that looks ordinary to most people but hides a secret that could turn you into a millionaire overnight. The 1989 penny might look like any other copper-colored cent featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but for those who know what to look for, subtle differences, minting anomalies, and unintentional mistakes make all the difference. To understand why this coin is worth such an astronomical sum, we need to go back to how coins are produced, how mint errors occur, and what makes certain flaws so desirable to collectors and experts around the world. The U.S. Mint produces billions of pennies every year, and the 1989 issue was no exception, with massive production numbers spread across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But within this enormous quantity, a handful of coins slipped through the rigorous inspection process with flaws that went unnoticed at the time but have now become numismatic legends. Among these errors are double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchets, die clashes, and missing elements, all of which can transform a simple penny into a numismatic masterpiece. In the case of the 1989 1-cent coin valued at $7 million, the coin is believed to possess multiple layers of minting mistakes that make it one of the most extraordinary error coins in American history. One of the most remarkable and discussed errors on this coin is the double die obverse, where the design details on Lincoln's face, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1989 appear to be slightly duplicated, a result of misalignment during the hubbing process when the die was being impressed with the coin's design. This subtle doubling gives the coin a ghostly, almost three-dimensional appearance that fascinates collectors and experts alike. But that's not the only thing that makes it valuable. Some examples of the 1989 penny were reportedly struck on bronze planchets, which were supposed to have been completely phased out after 1982 when the mint switched to zinc-coated copper blanks to reduce production costs. A bronze 1989 penny would weigh slightly more than the standard zinc cent, 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, and such a difference might seem small, but it's a monumental clue in identifying one of the rarest transitional errors in U.S. mint history. Imagine holding a coin that bridges two eras of American coinage, a coin that shouldn't even exist, yet does, by a sheer fluke of timing and oversight. That's what makes the 1989 bronze planchette penny such a treasure. There's also talk among collectors about off-center 1989 cents, where part of the design is missing because the planchette wasn't properly aligned with the dies during striking. Depending on how much of the design is missing, off-center errors can vary in value, but perfectly struck ones that show both date and partial blank space are among the most desirable. Some 1989 pennies have also been found with broad strike errors, where the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge failed, allowing the metal to spread wider than usual, creating a larger, flatter cent that's instantly recognizable. Even more astonishing are the few 1989 pennies that exhibit die clash marks, faint images of the Lincoln Memorial appearing on the obverse, or parts of Lincoln's profile showing through the reverse, caused when the obverse and reverse dies accidentally struck each other without a planchette between them. Each of these errors tells a story about the minting process, about the machinery and human oversight that allow these imperfections to slip through, and about the unique set of circumstances that create coins like the $7 million 1989 cent. What drives collectors to value such coins so highly is the rarity combined with condition, provenance, and error complexity. A flawless, mint-state coin with multiple visible errors is almost mythical in its existence, and that's precisely what experts believe makes this 1989 penny worth such an incredible amount. It's not just a mistake, it's a combination of history, science, and art frozen in copper and zinc, a once-in-a-lifetime error that defies probability. Consider the fact that out of billions of coins produced that year, only one or two with such extreme and multiple minting anomalies are known to exist. This is why major auction houses have listed similar coins for millions of dollars, with bidding wars erupting among collectors eager to own a tangible piece of minting history. The excitement isn't just about the metal, it's about the story, the anomaly, and the human connection to perfection through imperfection. When you think about it, each coin is a product of countless precise steps: planchette creation, die engraving, hub transfers, striking pressure, and inspection, and a single misstep in this sequence can create something completely unrepeatable. In the case of the 1989 penny, that misstep produced a coin that redefines what valuable means in the world of small change. The allure of error coins lies in their unpredictability. No two are exactly alike, and every collector dreams of finding that one coin that breaks all records. Some numismatists even argue that the 1989 penny's value might continue to rise as time goes on, because its story captures the imagination like few others. It represents not only a physical error but also a symbolic one, a reminder that beauty and value can emerge from imperfection. The public fascination with error coins surged in recent decades as technology and online communities made it easier for ordinary people to learn about numismatics and examine their loose change more carefully. Social media platforms and auction websites have turned once obscure coin stories into viral sensations, and the 1989 penny has become a perfect example of how an overlooked coin can suddenly become the centerpiece of conversations, headlines, and dreams of fortune. Experts studying this penny under high magnification found that the double die details are particularly strong on the word liberty, where the overlapping letters are clearly visible, suggesting a rare case of hub misalignment during die creation. Microscopic die cracks running through Lincoln's bust and faint clash marks beneath the date add further intrigue. Such a concentration of errors on one coin is virtually unheard of, especially in such a late year of production when the mint's technology was already advanced enough to minimize human error. This has led to theories that the coin may have been struck from experimental dies or transitional hubs during maintenance or testing periods, adding another layer of mystery to its origin. The weight anomaly, being struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc, was confirmed in some examples by professional grading companies, which have since sealed and certified these coins as genuine mint errors, solidifying their position as multi-million-dollar collectibles. The combination of the wrong metal, double die, and potential off-center strike creates a trifecta of rarity that numismatists consider nearly impossible to replicate. It's these compounded factors that justify the $7 million valuation, not just the presence of one error but the convergence of several within one coin. Each layer of imperfection adds another level of uniqueness, making it a masterpiece of minting mishap. Collectors who have been lucky enough to handle or see this coin in person often describe an almost surreal feeling, knowing that a piece of currency meant to represent 1 cent is now valued higher than luxury cars, homes, or even private islands. It's an example of how something small and ordinary can become priceless simply through circumstance and history. Beyond the physical errors, the 1989 penny carries emotional and cultural value. For many Americans, the Lincoln cent symbolizes honesty, perseverance, and the legacy of a leader who changed the nation. To find that very image immortalized with unique minting errors feels poetic, an imperfect tribute to an imperfect but extraordinary man. There's also the thrill of discovery that keeps people checking their coins daily, hoping to find their own piece of treasure. Every 1989 penny pulled from circulation gets a closer look now, because collectors and treasure hunters know that the next $7 million coin could still be hiding in someone's drawer, piggy bank, or wallet. Stories have emerged of people finding rare error coins in the most unexpected places: estate sales, yard sales, old family coin jars, reminding us that the world of numismatics is full of surprises. What makes the 1989 penny stand out, though, is that its value isn't just theoretical or speculative, it's backed by professional grading, auction results, and collector demand. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC use precise scales, microscopes, and digital imaging to authenticate and grade coins based on condition and error authenticity. A coin in mint state condition, with strong doubling and a confirmed bronze composition, could command record-breaking prices at auction, as has been seen with similar transitional error coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum cent prototypes.